Welcome back. Well, with inflation driving up the price of everyday items, budgeting is more important now than ever.
But how do you start a budget and how do you stick to it and still enjoy life? Ernest Burley of Burley Insurance and Financial Services is here to help you stay on budget. So, Mr. Burley, with many of us with student loans and all sort of other bills we have to worry about paying, why is it important to set a budget for yourself or for your household?
Yeah, it's very important to do that because you have to have a sense of where your money is going, how much money you have coming in and what's going out and what's left over to do what's towards your best advantage. You can't just live aimlessly through life. Yeah.
So budgeting is always so difficult, probably for everybody. But what is it? What are some of those key priorities you need to do?
Some of the key elements like of a budget are, of course, money coming in, so your income, your expenses, I say tracking, and also allocating. I think those are four major concepts that you need to implement in budgeting.
Okay, so those are those key elements, but how do you work them together? How much should each element take up in a budget?
Right, so there's no way to do that unless I actually see what's going on. But if you put them on one document and you see the money you have coming in, some people have multiple streams of income, some people just have one. And then you look at all of your expenses and you track your expenses to see, okay, where am I overspending? Where do I need to maybe put more money? And you allocate accordingly. So that's how those four things work together.
So a lot of people, are on track and doing well, and then inflation hits, and the numbers just don't work anymore. How do you adjust for that kind of thing?
You have to tweak it. Now, when I see budgets, a lot of times I see a lot of people wasting a lot of money in categories they don't know they're wasting money in. So you take a look at it, you take a really hard look at what's going on there, where your money is going, and where you can cut back. I see hundreds of dollars of places people can cut back all the time, but they don't realize it until they see it on paper.
So what are some of the tools that people can use when they're setting up a budget?
Good segue. Cash flow worksheet. So that's the document that lets you see the money that's coming in, the money that's going out. It adds up whether you're in the black or the red. Black means you have more money coming in than going out. If you're in the red, you have more money going out than coming in. And then it also allows you to track what your expenses are, and you can allocate. You can say, well, man, I'm spending too much money in entertainment. Let me pull $100 out here and put this in my savings or my IRA and reallocate it. So the cash flow worksheet is the document you want to use.
When we talk about some of those things you were just mentioning, you see somebody's budget and I'm assuming dining out, is that a big one?
Eating out is the biggest one. I normally see hundreds of dollars wasted in eating out, and sometimes it goes into the thousands per month where people are wasting. You used to only be able to get pizza delivered. Now you get everything delivered to your front door, and that really messes up people's budget. They just DoorDash everything or Grubhub I've never used any of them, but people do all the time.
So once you kind of set that budget, how can you keep yourself in line? I've set this certain amount aside for shopping, eating out. How can I make sure I'm sticking to that?
So there are two kind of good ways to do that. Use your debit card instead of your credit card. But I'm going to put a caveat there because when you use plastic, you normally spend more than you want to anyway. But it's better than the credit card because that's la-la land, right? So the debit card, at least that's coming out of your bank account. And if you really want to drill down on something, use the envelope system. That will keep you on budget for sure.
If you do use that credit card, the key paying it off at the end of the month in full?
Yes. Every time I speak somewhere, someone tells me someone told them they should always keep a balance on their credit card. And I'm like, what in the world? No, you pay it to zero every month. You only charge what you can pay off when that statement comes due.
So you mentioned the envelope system. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, that's a system wherein you budget for a particular category and you put cash in an envelope and you label the envelope and say, okay, this is how much I'm spending this week for this particular category. When you run out of cash, you don't spend in that category anymore, right? And you become much more conscious about what you're spending because you don't want to run out of cash, right, in that category.
The family, how do you get them involved in this budget?
Well, it depends on which family, little family or big family. I would highly advocate everyone taking a look at the household expenses. Now, it depends on how old your children are as to what you want to tell them what your income is because they may be telling the whole school. But I would highly recommend them understanding the concept of expenses, the mortgage, food, gas, phone bill, so they understand that things cost money, right? Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Burley, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you back here next Tuesday then.
Sounds good.
And individuals should contact their own financial professionals and attorneys to help answer questions about specific situations or needs before taking any action based on this information.